Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you something. Today they will regret losing you, so don't take them back. When someone walks out of your life, they're making a choice, one that says you weren't a priority. But you know what? That's not your loss, it's theirs. And deep down they will realize it. Here's the thing, you are a treasure. You have value. You bring love, loyalty, and kindness to the table. When someone leaves you, they're walking away from all the greatness you offer. Don't ever doubt that. You are enough. Now, don't be fooled into thinking that just because they come back, things will be different. It's easy to fall into that trap of hope. But let me ask you this, what's different now? Are they offering you more respect, more love, more appreciation? If not, then my friends, that door is closed for a reason. Hold your head high, keep moving forward. The right people will recognize your worth, and they'll treat you with the respect you deserve. And those who left, well, they'll look back one day and realize the mistake they made. So don't take them back. You deserve better. And trust me, they will regret losing you. You need to understand one fundamental truth. You are a treasure. Your value isn't determined by the opinions of others, the way people treat you, or the mistakes you've made in the past. You are inherently valuable, and your worth is rooted in who you are, not in what others think you should be. Every person has unique qualities, strengths, and experiences that make them irreplaceable. When you recognize your value, you stop settling for anything less than what you truly deserve. Too often we get caught up in seeking validation from others, trying to prove our worth through their approval. Whether it's in a relationship, at work, or among friends, the desire for affirmation can overshadow our self-recognition. But when you place your self-worth in the hands of someone else, you're giving them power over your happiness and confidence. It's time to reclaim that power. You need to stand tall in knowing that you are enough just as you are. Consider the moments when you've given your heart and soul to others, only to be met with indifference or even rejection. It's painful, isn't it? But instead of letting those experiences define your worth, use them as reminders that some people simply aren't equipped to see your greatness. It's not about you. It's about their inability to recognize what's right in front of them. You can't change how they view you, but you can control how you view yourself. When you know your worth, you stop chasing after the approval of people who don't value you. You stop seeking out relationships, jobs, or friendships where you're not being treated with the respect and care you deserve. The moment you realize your value, you stop settling for less than what you're worth. You understand that you don't have to beg for attention or force someone to appreciate you. The right people will naturally be drawn to your authenticity and your strength. Think about the most valuable things in life, the rarest gems, the finest works of art, the most sought-after experiences. They don't need to prove their worth to anyone. Their value is inherent. And it's clear to anyone who's paying attention, you are no different. When you begin to see yourself as valuable and irreplaceable, you stop allowing toxic people and situations into your life. You understand that there is no reason to settle for anything less than the best because you deserve it. The challenge, of course, is truly believing this about yourself, especially when the world might try to tell you otherwise. People will project their insecurities, disappointments, and fears onto you, but that's their burden, not yours. Their inability to recognize your worth is not your problem, and it certainly doesn't diminish your value. Let their mistakes, their issues, and their shortcomings be just that, theirs. You can choose to walk away from situations that don't serve you, knowing that it's their loss, not yours. Your value is not contingent on how much you give or how much you sacrifice. It's not about being perfect or always saying yes. It's about understanding your own needs, setting healthy boundaries, and recognizing that you deserve respect, love, and kindness just as much as anyone else. When you stop measuring your value by how much you can do for others, you start seeing yourself as deserving of what you give. And when you truly believe in your worth, others will see it too. The world will often try to convince you that you need to earn your worth, that you need to constantly prove yourself in order to be loved or appreciated. But the truth is, you were born with intrinsic value. Your worth was never up for negotiation. You don't need to earn the right to be treated with respect, kindness, or dignity. You were born worthy of all those things. In every relationship, whether romantic, platonic, or professional, remind yourself that you deserve to be surrounded by people who value you for who you truly are. If someone can't see your worth, it's a reflection of their limitations, not yours. You don't have to change to fit their idea of who you should be. You don't have to shrink yourself down in order to make others comfortable. Your value doesn't change based on anyone's inability to recognize it. Remember, your worth is not tied to your past mistakes, your current circumstances, or the opinions of others. It's an intrinsic, undeniable truth that belongs to you and no one else. When you realize this, it becomes easier to let go of the things and people that don't align with your true value. You begin to surround yourself with those who see you for who you truly are and appreciate you for all the incredible qualities that make you unique. When someone leaves your life, it's not your loss, it's theirs. I know it can feel devastating in the moment, as though the world has turned upside down and you've been left behind. But here's the truth. You are still standing, still moving forward, and still full of potential. The person who walked away might think they're making the right choice, but the reality is they are walking away from something rare and valuable. They're walking away from you. And when the dust settles, when they look back, they'll realize the mistake they made. Sometimes we get caught up in the idea that someone's absence in our life means we're not enough, that we somehow failed, or that we weren't deserving of their love or attention. But let me remind you, the loss is theirs, not yours. The moment someone decides to walk away, they're rejecting what you bring to the table. They're saying no to your kindness, your loyalty, your care, and your love. You deserve someone who will cherish all of that, someone who will stay because they recognize your worth, not someone who leaves when things get hard. You have to let go of the belief that you need to prove yourself to anyone. The person who left you didn't leave because of anything you did wrong. They left because they couldn't see the value of what they had. People make choices based on their own limitations, their fears, or their inability to see the bigger picture. When someone chooses to walk away, it says more about their inability to handle the gift of who you are than it says about your worth. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that if you just give a little more, show a little more love, or try a little harder, you'll win them back. But here's the thing you can't chase after someone who has already chosen to leave. People who walk away have made a choice. And that choice is to walk away from what you offer. And the harder you chase after them, the more you devalue yourself in the process. You start to believe that somehow you weren't good enough and that you need to prove something to them. But that's not the truth. You are enough. You've always been enough. And if they can't see that, it's time to let them go. Letting go isn't easy. It's one of the hardest things you'll ever do, but it's also one of the most empowering. When you stop chasing someone who has already chosen to leave, you start focusing on yourself. You start recognizing your own strength, your own worth, and your own potential. You begin to understand that you don't need someone else to validate you. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. The right people will see you for what you are and will want to be a part of your life because they recognize how amazing you truly are. Sometimes we hold on to the hope that the person who left will come back, that things will change, or that with enough time, everything will be better. But let me ask you this, what has changed? What makes you think that someone who couldn't appreciate you the first time around will suddenly treat you differently? The truth is, if someone walks away from you once, it's not because they didn't see your value, it's because they weren't ready to appreciate it. And if they return, are they really coming back with the respect and appreciation you deserve, or are they simply coming back because they realize you were something they couldn't easily replace? The fact is, people who truly appreciate you don't let you walk away in the first place. They don't make the choice to leave and then expect you to welcome them back when they decide they made a mistake. True appreciation comes with consistency. It comes with the effort to show that they recognize your worth every single day, not just when it's convenient for them. And if someone walks away, it's a sign that they weren't capable of offering that level of commitment or care. Their loss is not something for you to chase or try to mend. It's something for you to learn from and move forward from. You are the one who holds the power to define your own life and your own happiness. When someone walks away, don't let it make you question who you are or what you deserve. Walk away from the idea that you need to prove anything to someone who couldn't see the value in you. You have the right to be with people who recognize you, who appreciate you, and who stay through the hard times because they know your worth. So when someone walks away, remind yourself it's their loss, not yours. It's their mistake, not yours. And when you finally realize that, you'll find the strength to move on, to embrace the opportunities that lie ahead, and to create a life filled with people who truly appreciate everything you bring to the table. When you truly understand your worth, you stop settling for anything less than what you deserve. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that if you just try a little harder, do a little more, or give a little extra, you'll be able to keep people in your life or secure things that you think you need. But the moment you start recognizing your value, you begin to realize that your time, your energy, and your love are precious. You don't have to chase after people or situations that don't honor or appreciate you. You start to believe that you are deserving of what's best, and that means no more settling for less. Think about how often we put ourselves in situations where we accept crumbs instead of the full meal we deserve. Whether it's in relationships, friendships, or professional endeavors, many of us have been conditioned to believe that we need to earn love, respect, or success. We think that the more we give, the more we'll get in return. But that's not how true fulfillment works. The truth is, you don't have to earn the right to be treated well. You are already worthy of kindness, honesty, loyalty, and respect simply because you are who you are. When you start living with this understanding, you stop accepting less than you deserve. This doesn't mean that you need to be perfect or that you can never have flaws. It means that you honor your own humanity, your own flaws, and still recognize that you deserve to be treated with dignity. Perfection is an illusion, and you're never going to meet someone who doesn't have their own shortcomings. But what you do need to accept is that you are worthy of being treated with care regardless of how imperfect you or anyone else might be. The moment you stop seeking perfection is the moment you start recognizing that you deserve love, respect, and kindness no matter what. It's incredibly easy to get stuck in the habit of settling. We convince ourselves that we're lucky to have the people in our lives, that maybe they're the best we can get, or that we should be grateful for whatever we have, even if it's not ideal. But here's a reality check. The right people, the right opportunities, the right circumstances, those things will come when you stop accepting less than you deserve. When you begin to show the world that you will no longer settle for relationships that drain you or jobs that make you feel undervalued, you open up space for things that truly align with who you are. Settling is an act of self-denial. It's telling yourself that you don't matter enough to demand better. But when you stop settling, you're telling yourself that you believe in your own worth and you trust that something better will come your way. The universe has a funny way of delivering what you need once you show up for yourself. When you stop compromising your values, your happiness, and your self-respect just to hold on to something that doesn't serve you, you make room for the things that truly belong in your life. This might be one of the hardest things to do, especially when you're afraid of being alone or thinking that things won't improve. It's easy to hold on to what's familiar, even if it's unhealthy or unfulfilling. But deep down, you know you deserve more. You know that your time, your heart, and your soul are worthy of being invested in something that reflects your own values and desires. No more wasting time on people who don't appreciate you or situations that only hold you back. No more sacrificing your peace for the comfort of knowing what you have, even if it's not ideal. It's not always easy to make this shift, especially if you've been taught to be selfless or put others' needs before your own. But the truth is, you cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot give your best to others if you're constantly settling for less than what you deserve. By honoring your own worth, you make it easier for others to do the same. You attract the kind of relationships, jobs, and opportunities that reflect your value because you refuse to settle for less. The real power comes when you decide to stop chasing after validation from those who cannot see your worth. Too often we try to convince people to value us, but the people who truly value you won't need convincing. They'll see you for who you are, and they'll honor your needs, your feelings, and your dreams. You don't have to beg for love or appreciation. When you stop settling, you start showing the world that you know what you bring to the table and that you deserve to have those things reflected back to you in return. Let go of the idea that you need to be more to be worthy of great things. You are already worthy right now in this very moment with everything you have to offer. It's not about what you can do for others, but about who you are at your core. And once you recognize this, you'll stop accepting the scraps and start demanding and receiving the full meal you deserve. You deserve love, respect, and success on your own terms, and that begins with stopping the habit of settling. It's easy to get caught up in the hope that someone will come back, that somehow things will be different the second time around. You might find yourself wondering if they've changed, if they've learned their lesson, or if this time they'll treat you with the respect and care you deserve. But here's the hard truth: if they left once, what makes you think they won't leave again? It's important to ask yourself, what has really changed? People show you who they are through their actions, not just their words. A few promises and empty apologies won't change the underlying reality of how they treated you before. It's easy to believe that if you give them one more chance, if you're just a little bit more understanding, things will work out. But giving someone who has already walked away a second chance is like opening a door to someone who's shown you they can't be trusted. They've already demonstrated that they can walk away when it's convenient for them. So why would you think that they'll stay when things get difficult again? Their absence, their choice to leave, says something important about their ability to see your worth and appreciate it. It's not about you, it's about them, and their inability to recognize what they had until it was gone. You may feel like you want to believe in the possibility of change, and I get it. We all want to believe that people can change, that people can learn from their mistakes. But true change requires consistent action over time, not just empty promises or a temporary shift in behavior. Someone who truly values you will show that value every day, not just when it's convenient. They won't treat you as an option and then decide to come back when they've realized they're not happy without you. They will stay and fight for you, not because they have to, but because they genuinely care about keeping you in their life. When someone leaves you, it's a sign that they weren't capable of giving you the commitment and respect you deserve. And by taking them back, you're essentially telling them that their past behavior was acceptable, that their lack of appreciation or commitment was something you're willing to forgive. But here's the thing, you don't have to keep accepting that. You are worthy of someone who sees you, values you, and chooses you every single day, not just when it's convenient or when they need something. The right person will never make you feel like a second option or make you question your worth. It can be tempting to let hope cloud your judgment, especially when you feel lonely or when the idea of giving them another chance seems easier than facing the uncertainty of moving forward alone. But what you need to understand is that by taking them back, you're putting yourself in a position where you're no longer in control of your own worth. You're waiting for someone to choose you instead of recognizing that you're the one who gets to choose. You're the one who decides what you will and won't tolerate. You're the one who decides that you won't settle for someone who has already shown you that they can walk away without a second thought. When you stop taking people back who have shown you that they can leave, you start to reclaim your power. You stop being the one who is constantly waiting for someone else to recognize your worth. You stop waiting for people to come around because you understand that your worth doesn't depend on whether or not someone else can see it. You are valuable regardless of their actions, and you deserve to be treated that way. If they walked away once, they've shown you what they're willing to do. And by taking them back, you're reinforcing the idea that you'll accept anything, even when you know it doesn't serve you. True love and respect are not about waiting for someone to come back. They're about knowing that the right person will never leave in the first place. The right person will be there when you need them, not just when it's convenient. They will appreciate you, support you, and make the effort to show you that you matter to them, not only when they realize they've made a mistake. Taking someone back who has already left is not a sign of love. It's a sign of self-doubt, of believing that your worth is tied to their presence in your life. But that couldn't be further from the truth. What you have to realize is that you don't need anyone to validate your worth. The right person will never make you question your value, and they will never leave you wondering whether you're enough. You are already enough. You've always been enough. And when you recognize that, you'll stop going back to people who haven't yet figured that out. When you begin to understand that you are the one who holds the power to define your life and your happiness, you unlock a level of freedom that many people never experience. For so long, we've been taught to look outward for validation, whether that comes from relationships, career achievements, or the approval of others. But the truth is, you are the author of your own story, and only you get to decide what that story looks like. When you stop waiting for others to define your worth, you step into your own power. You start realizing that your happiness doesn't rely on anyone else's actions, and that's incredibly liberating. There's a tendency, especially in difficult situations, to look to others for answers, to seek external validation when we're faced with uncertainty. Whether it's from a partner, a friend, or a colleague, it's easy to get lost in the belief that someone else's opinion of us matters more than our own. But the truth is that your happiness and your success begin within you. When you let others determine your worth, you give them control over your emotions, your self-perception, and even your future. But once you realize that no one else holds the key to your happiness, you begin to embrace your power. This doesn't mean that you should live in isolation or disregard the importance of relationships. It's about recognizing that the right people will come into your life when you stop depending on others for validation. When you stop seeking out external sources to affirm your worth, you become magnetic to the right people who see you for who you truly are. The right friends, partners, and colleagues won't just show up. They'll be drawn to the confidence and self-assuredness you project because you've learned that your happiness starts from within. There's a certain strength that comes from knowing that you are enough just as you are. You don't need anyone's approval to feel validated. You don't need to change yourself to fit someone else's expectations. Once you embrace this truth, you begin to let go of the fear of rejection or judgment. You stop apologizing for who you are and start living authentically. This is the power of self-acceptance. You stop wasting time trying to prove yourself to people who will never fully see you. And instead, you begin to focus on creating a life that reflects who you are and what you truly want. When you recognize that you hold the power to define your happiness, you also understand that no one can take that power away from you. Sure, people can come and go and situations can change, but at the core of it all, your sense of self-worth is in your hands. You don't need anyone's permission to feel good about yourself or to pursue your dreams. The people who matter will understand and appreciate the strength that comes from knowing who you are and what you deserve. And the ones who can't respect that will eventually fade away, making room for those who will. Letting go of the need for external validation means that you start making decisions based on what is right for you, not based on what others think you should do. You no longer let fear or insecurity guide your choices. Instead, you begin to trust your instincts, knowing that you are the only one who truly understands what's best for you. You're no longer waiting for permission to live your life the way you want. This is a powerful shift, and it's one that will fundamentally change how you approach your relationships, career, and even your personal growth. As you take ownership of your own happiness, you also begin to set boundaries. When you know your worth, you no longer accept behavior from others that doesn't align with your values or your standards. You become clear about what you will and won't tolerate, and this clarity allows you to cultivate healthier, more meaningful relationships. You start saying no to things that drain you, things that hold you back, and things that don't contribute to your growth. This is where true strength lies, in the ability to walk away from what doesn't serve you, knowing that you're making room for something better to enter your life. The more you claim your own happiness, the more you begin to build a life that reflects your values, your passions, and your goals. You start creating a future that is aligned with who you are rather than what others expect you to be. This level of self-awareness and self-assurance is magnetic. It draws the right opportunities to you, people who will appreciate and respect you for who you are, not for what you can do for them or how they want to change you. As you begin to take responsibility for your own happiness, you stop letting your circumstances define you. You stop giving other people the power to control how you feel about yourself. Instead, you create a life of purpose and joy based on what you know to be true about who you are. You no longer rely on others to fill the gaps in your life. You start to realize that you are whole, you are enough, and you are deserving of a life that reflects your true self. And when you reach that point, the world around you changes. The people who are meant to be in your life will show up, and the people who aren't will fall away. You'll be free to live the life you've always dreamed of, guided by your own sense of self-worth. When someone walks away from your life, there's a tendency to think that you are somehow less because they're no longer around. You might feel abandoned, betrayed, or even as though you've been left incomplete. But the truth is, they will regret losing you. They may not realize it now, but as time passes, they'll come to understand just how valuable you were to their life. And when that realization hits, it will be too late. We often attach our worth to the presence of others. We believe that someone's absence means that we weren't enough or that we failed in some way. But what we don't see in those moments is that their departure is actually a reflection of them, not you. It's not about how little you are, but how much they failed to recognize what they had in you. You brought something unique, something irreplaceable to the table. You offered love, loyalty, care, and support. And when someone walks away from that, it says more about their inability to see your worth than it does about who you are. In time, they'll look back and wonder why they let you go. They'll reflect on the moments you shared, the care you gave, the person you were to them. They'll realize that no one else was able to offer what you did, and that you were a presence in their life that they'll never find again. And in that moment, they will regret losing you, because no matter what they tell themselves now, deep down they'll know they made a mistake. It's important to remember that people only appreciate what they had once that's no longer there. In the moment, they may have taken you for granted and mistreated you, or overlooked the special things you brought into their lives. They might not have understood your value, your effort, or your consistency. But when you're gone, they'll notice the void you left behind. They'll begin to recognize that you were the one who truly cared, the one who put in the work, the one who stood by them when others didn't. And when that realization comes, it will sting because they'll understand that it's too late to get it back. We often get caught up in the idea that we need to prove ourselves to people who don't value us. We think that if we just try harder, show more affection, or give a little more, we'll somehow earn their appreciation. But here's the truth: you don't need to prove anything to anyone who doesn't recognize your worth. You deserve to be valued for who you are, not for what you do or how much you give. The right people will recognize your value without you having to beg for it. The people who truly care about you won't leave you in the first place. They'll stay because they see you, they appreciate you, and they want you in their lives for the long haul. So when someone walks away, don't chase them. Don't try to convince them to stay. Don't try to prove that you are worthy of their love or their time. Let them walk away, because in doing so, they're showing you exactly how little they understand what they had. The right person, the right people will never walk away from you. They will stay. They will recognize what you bring into their life, and they'll make sure you know it. When you start to understand that you don't have to prove your worth to anyone, you stop allowing people to come in and out of your life on their terms. You begin to value yourself enough to know that if someone leaves, it's their loss, not yours. You're the one who will continue to grow, to thrive, and to move forward, while they'll be left behind with the regret of not appreciating the person they once had. It might take time for them to regret losing you. It may take them months, even years, to recognize what they lost. But when they do, and they realize that no one else could fill the space you left, they'll wish they had treated you better. And in that moment, you'll be living your life, moving forward with new opportunities, new relationships, and new experiences. You won't be waiting for them to come back, because you'll have already moved on to something better. Their regret isn't your burden to carry. You've already given what you could, and if they didn't value it, that's on them. You have to keep moving forward, keep growing, and keep finding your happiness. Because when someone walks away, it's their mistake, not yours. And in the end, you will always be the one who comes out stronger, wiser, and more appreciative of your own worth.